you have this incredible idea for a course that could genuinely change people's lives, but there is one thing holding you back, and that is that you think you need to have a massive team and budget to put your course together. You've seen the ads, the gurus with their Hollywood level video setups, and the platforms that promise to do everything for you. It's so easy to believe that without all of that flashy, expensive tech, that you can't possibly create a great experience. But I am here to tell you that that is not true. In this video, I'm going to show you why the most powerful strategies for student success have almost nothing to do with your tech stack and everything to do with being a human. We are going to bust this myth that expensive means better, and I will give you a simple, human-centered blueprint that'll do more than just get your students to the finish line. Let's be real for a second. The moment you decide to create an online course, you fall down this insane tech rabbit hole. Am I right? You're bombarded with ads for all-in-one platforms. You see people with these crazy filming setups that look like they have entire movie sets behind them. This is not one. You start seeing blogs about gamification and AI learning paths and all these advanced analytics. It can be completely overwhelming, and it creates this idea that if you don't have the best tools, you can't give the best experience. Maybe you even put off launching because you can't afford the right tools. Or you feel like an imposter because you're shooting videos on your phone. I'll let you in on a little secret. I'm shooting this on my phone. And you end up spending more time just arguing with your platform than actually connecting with and teaching your students. I know exactly how that feels because I have been there. When I launched my first program, I thought I needed all the bells and whistles to justify the price, which in reality was way too low anyways, but I was kind of experimenting and I ended up closing it down because it didn't really fit what I wanted to go for. I tried to build out this really elaborate program that I was only charging $7 a month for. And yes, you heard me right, $7 a month. But it had way too much in it for that amount of money. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But the thing is that I thought I needed to have all of this extra content, all of these bonuses, all of these things in this membership or in this, it could have also been a course. But the truth is I overcomplicated it, okay? And I'm here to tell you now that you don't need to overcomplicate things with your course, with the platform, with what goes in it, with any of it. With any of the automations that you have on the back end, there are some very simple, straightforward ones that really help to keep your community engaged, let them know they've signed up and here's how to access everything and all of that kind of stuff. But there doesn't need to be all of these extra things going on in the back end outside of that. I really think it's easy to see somebody's sales course or sales page for their course or their membership or whatever it is that they're selling. And and it's super cheap, right? It's $27, it's $37, and it has, the main product, but then it's almost like the main product is overshadowed by all of the bonuses, like all of the other things that you get, or they've listed out every single worksheet that they've included in it, and it makes this really long sales page, and it makes it seem like you're getting all of this stuff, which of course is to show you the value of purchasing the program or course or whatever it is. And that's a good thing. People need to see that they're going to get value out of what you're selling. But it's easy to see other people's pages like that and always think, I'm not adding enough, I'm not doing enough, I don't have enough in my course to make it worthwhile, or in my template, or in my mini course, or in my training, or whatever it is that you're selling. It's easy to think that you don't have enough in there when you see somebody else's page that has all of these things in there. But I want to tell you, I don't want to say it doesn't matter. It does matter what's in there. It needs to be a value. It needs to be what you're promising people that you're going to teach them or sell them or give them or whatever. But it doesn't need to be this next level of content in terms of how much content's in it. It doesn't need to be 800 pages of worksheets or 27 templates or whatever, because the more extra pieces are in there, the more likely somebody is going to get off track and distracted and not actually get to the main event, what the transformation is that they purchase from you. That was a really long roundabout way to say keep it simple. That was me not keeping it simple, telling you to keep it simple. So what I really want you to think about as you're building out your course, as you're designing it, as you're creating the content for it, is to think about the person that you were building it for. Now, a couple videos ago when we talked about platforms, I told you not to start building in your platform until you have the outline of your course done, because you need to focus on the person and not the platform. And if you jump into the platform and start trying to build it out the way that you think it's going to be, you're focusing on the platform first. And that's not what we want to do, right? If you get to use all the features your course platform offers you, then great. But you don't need to start out every single course with every single feature that they have. Think about your person. Think about what you want them to do to get what you need them to do to get from point A to point B and put that in your course. But outline it first. Think about the person and then put it in your platform. Think about what your student needs to feel seen, supported, and successful. That's where you start, not with what platform you're going to sign up for. Students will forgive tech that's a little wonky as long as the content is clear and the support feels personal. They want to know they're working with you, even if it's through a course and it's not one-on-one. They want to know they're working with you, that a human designed it, made it for them, over how fancy your tech platform is. The fanciest tech on the planet can't save a course that's confusing or makes people feel like they're just a number or a dollar sign to you. So course completion rates being low is not necessarily a tech problem, it's a human connection problem. So let's walk through the 4 human-centered pillars that will help you create an amazing experience for your students using simple, accessible tools. So number 1 is clarity and simplicity, because the number 1 killer of student success is overwhelm. They get overwhelmed and then they just quit because they don't know where to start, don't know where to come back to, don't know how to move forward, so they stop. Before anyone can learn anything, they need to feel calm and in control. They need to know exactly what to do next and how it fits all together. You don't need a fancy platform for this. You just need your course to be laid out properly and organized. This is really the easiest way to go, because think about it. A very well organized Google Drive or even a password protected page on your website can be way more effective than a super complicated course platform if it gets your students the content that they need and helps them reach the transformation that you promised. So just like we talked about in video number 1, create a roadmap, create an outline, create the plan for your students of how they're going to work through your course materials. Create this before you even start building anything, before you record your first video. Think about how everything is going to work together and flow in your course so that when you put it together, it actually makes sense. And I want the first module, the first section of your course to be a layout for them. Show them how to work through it. Make a PDF or a little walkthrough video or however you want to give that info, but give them like a map of how to go through the content to get the most out of it. I also want you to use a consistent naming convention. We've talked about this too. Don't get cute. Keep your file names consistent and predictable so that they know which file goes with which lesson or which lesson's coming next or whatever. It keeps them from getting confused about which one they're working on or which one they should be on, and it helps to keep things in order, and it helps to make things very easy to find, especially if your course platform has a search feature, or if you are using like Google Drive, then it helps with that search feature. I also want you to keep lessons bite-sized, because if Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok have taught us anything, it's that our attention spans are that of a gnat. So if you try to give somebody an hour-long video, they're probably going to lose interest after a while, even if you are the best speaker in the world. So try to keep your videos short. People are also very busy and don't necessarily have time to sit down and watch an hour-long video. So if you can give them quick wins often, then I feel like that's a better way to kind of go through a transformation. The next thing is to keep everything in one place. If you were using Google Drive, put everything in one folder and branch it out from there. If you're using a platform, make sure you only have one login for that platform, or all of your materials are in that one platform. Or if you have more than one course that they may have purchased from you, then you try to keep everything in the one platform. That way they don't lose logins, lose access to things. It's all in the one spot. Clarity isn't a feature that you can buy in a course platform. It's a choice you make in how to present your materials. It shows your students that you respect their time, and it's a foundation for everything else. Pillar number 2 is all about reminding your students that there's a real person on the other side of that screen. This is probably the most overlooked but most powerful key to student success. When students feel connected to you, they're more motivated to go through all of the content, they're more engaged, and they're more likely to finish. And if we're being totally honest, super polished high-tech videos and course content and that sort of thing can kind of take away from this, because it starts to feel like your course is a little corporate, maybe big business put it together. And that's not really what we want. We want people to connect to you as a solopreneur. It should feel personal. So here are a few ways you can build those connections. One is a personalized welcome video. Don't just send them a receipt. Make the first module, or you can even put it in a personalized welcome email so they get the receipt, for taxes. And then also get a welcome email from you that has a video in it. Or you can put it as the first module or first thing they see when they log into their course platform for the first time. And it's just a simple welcome email from you. saying, hi, thanks for buying, and kind of walk them through, here's the roadmap that I want you to take to go through this course and how they can reach out to you, things of that nature. I also want you to give yourself permission to be imperfect in your videos. That can mean using your phone or a webcam to record your videos instead of some fancy camera. It can mean maybe your dog gets a couple barks in the background, because you will probably hear that from me at some point. Speaking of dogs, you can't see her, but she is right here. She blends right into the couch. But a simple video that often feels a little rougher on the edges, a little unpolished maybe, feels a little bit more personal than a super polished, like movie studio finished video. Because while it needs to have a little bit of production value, your students ultimately care more about your connection than how visually good your videos are. They want the transformation, not perfect videos. Another thing you can do is schedule strategic email check-ins. These you can set up to automate. You don't even have to do these manually every time, but just schedule emails to send out like every week after somebody signs up, and just write them like you're talking to a friend. It can just say something like, hey, put their first name in here. I'm just checking in. How did you find that exercise on this topic? Just hit reply and let me know. Just something that easy that just, even if they don't reply, because most of them probably won't, but you never know who will. And even if they don't, it lets them know that you are still engaged with them as they go through the process of completing your course. And of course, whenever you're talking to a student in email, on Zoom, in your community, refer to them by their name, because that is just, because first of all, it's just very basic. And second of all, it just doesn't feel any more personal than if somebody calls you by name, and it lets them know that you're invested in them personally. You don't need to spend hours with every single student. It's just about those little touches that let them know that you are in their corner and not just a dollar sign. Okay, number 3 is community, because it's really easy to kind of get off track if you don't have somebody that you can talk to help kind of keep you reined in, right? Students who feel like they're in it together are way more likely to stay engaged and keep pushing through the materials. Feeling like you're part of a community just kind of helps keep people going, and you definitely do not need fancy tech for this. The best communities are usually on the platforms your students already are using, because they're already there. So it makes it very easy for them to jump in, I don't know, ask questions, or just collaborate with other people without having to think about signing into another platform. Your job then is to just get them talking to each other, because once that happens, it takes a little bit of the pressure off of you. And it also makes the whole experience better for everyone, because they have multiple people that they can bounce ideas off of. So let's talk a little bit about what kind of platforms you can use for community. And I really, really don't want you to overthink this, okay? It can be as simple as a private Facebook group. And I know that over the last year or so, most of us have tried to move away from private Facebook groups, and I get that. But the truth is that a lot of people are still just on Facebook. And even if they're not using it for posting for business stuff, because I don't use it for that anymore ever, I doom scroll. But if I had a Facebook group on there, that would be where I would go to engage with people, because I'm already going to be on there anyways. So even if I'm just doing a little doom scrolling, if I see a post about this course I'm taking, then I'll be likely to chime in on it because I've already seen it, versus having to have another platform to log into to remember to engage with, or to sign into to ask questions, or that sort of thing, which will probably do, but taking that obstacle out makes me more likely to use maybe a Facebook group. All of that said, a Slack channel or even a WhatsApp group can also work just as well. Maybe even a Facebook Messenger group. Like, however, wherever your students are already hanging out is a really good place to consider setting up your community, because they're already there. You don't have to send out reminders to check in or this or that, because they're already going to be logged in there. But once you have your community platform picked out, you do need to post in there deliberately. You can't just open the doors and shove everybody in there and hope that the party starts, right? Like, everybody's going to be in their little corner doing their thing, and nobody's going to talk to each other. You have to kind of facilitate the conversation a little bit. You could post questions related to the course, or something like post a picture of your work in progress this week, or even just a picture of something fun they did the weekend, just to get some engagement going, get people chatting with each other. You should also actively encourage students to help each other out and celebrate each other when they post something exciting that they've accomplished. And if you see a student give a good answer to somebody else's question, make sure to let them know that, because that will encourage them and everybody else to chime in more often, and that really gets the community conversation going. Something else you can do is host like a 1 hour co-working session where everybody just hops on Zoom, hits mute, and just kind of works in the vibe of everybody else also working. Just kind of sharing that virtual space helps everybody feel a little less alone. You don't even have to teach, you just kind of hold the space. Maybe play a little music in the background, something very chill, and let people work. And if you wanted to, you could open up the chat for maybe questions. If people have questions about things, they can just type to you so it doesn't disrupt the vibe, by talking when everybody else is still working. But give them that opportunity to open up to ask you questions by opening up the chat and having a little conversation that way. If you're interested in seeing what this kind of looks like, I have been doing co-working sessions right here on my YouTube channel. They're live, typically on Saturdays, and I try to schedule them. My schedule's crazy, but I try to schedule them a little bit ahead of time so that if you're subscribed to me, you will get a notification before the live happens so that if you want to join, you will know. But of course, the replays are also available. And our final pillar is meaningful action and feedback. And this is where the majority of the magic happens when it comes to your students progressing through the course and the transformation that you promised them when they signed up. So your course needs to be designed to get people to take action. And when they do, they need to be able to get a little bit of feedback from you on that. This is what helps them get better at whatever it is that they're learning. I'm not talking about quizzes or grading. Now, if you did watch the video before this one, I do mention adding some quizzes and things to your course to make it more interactive, but I'm not talking about quizzes here. I'm talking about actual feedback from you regarding how they're progressing through the content. Are they getting better at whatever it is you're teaching? If you teach them how to make YouTube thumbnails, are they getting better at their YouTube thumbnails? The community can help a lot with this, but it also is it's also good to have a way for them to get direct feedback from you. You can 100% set boundaries around this. It doesn't have to be a 24/7 free-for-all to get feedback from you, but have a form or something where they can submit something and get your eyes on it and your thoughts on it, so that they can make improvements. So design your course for doing, not just watching. Every lesson needs some sort of call to action. Don't just teach the concept. Give them an assignment that makes them apply it right away. This also helps them to actually remember what they're learning. You can also do video feedback, like through Loom. I have one client that does this. She offers website reviews in her membership. You can't just go in there and post, I want a website review every day until she does it, and she does them all the time. She does like 1 or 2 a month, and you have to submit a form first to be considered for that month. And then she does a video walkthrough with Loom and then sends the link to the video out to her client. It gives them great feedback. You can see that she's looking at your website when she's reviewing it and telling you exactly what she recommends to change in order to get your website to that next level. So no matter what you're teaching, that could be a great way to get feedback. It's not quite the same as a one-on-one call, but it's a little bit of a step. It's a step up from just an email. You can also use voice notes in a similar fashion. So if you don't need to record a video, like if you don't need to screen share or show them something and you don't want to do like just a face video, you could do a voice note like in Voxer or even Slack. If you're using Slack as your community platform, you can send voice notes in there. And that's a great way to just send a quick message back to them answering their question without maybe typing out a whole long response. And you should also frame your feedback around what's next. Don't just point out what's wrong, but tell them what are their next steps. So say, this area needs some improvement, here's how I would improve it, or here's what I recommend for improving it, that kind of thing. This way they can continue to move forward on the progress that they're making. No amount of tech or software is going to give your students the genuine feedback that you will by connecting with them and actually helping them move through your program. All right, so there are your 4 pillars of a human-centered course: clarity, connection, community, and feedback. And in case you didn't notice, the common thread here is that none of that requires fancy tech. They just need you to be a thoughtful human on the other side of your program, thinking of your students as individuals and not just dollar signs. I think I've said that 3 times in this video. I just want to make sure you understand. You don't need a big budget. You don't need a big tech stack. You can even use Google Drive for your content if that's where you're at right now. You do not need a complex tech stack. You can use Google Drive for your content, Facebook group for your community, Zoom for your coaching calls or co-working sessions, and Loom for feedback. The magic isn't in the tools, and that's coming from someone who loves tools. It's in how you use them to help your students feel seen, supported, and successful. So while I know we all love a shiny new tech tool, I know I do, before you jump on it, ask yourself if it's actually going to help you support your students better than what you're currently doing. Because the world doesn't need another flashy impersonal course. It needs your unique gift delivered with care. Now, if you like, I have a free guide. You can grab it in the description on planning out your course. I highly recommend taking a look at that before you start researching platforms. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next video. I'm going to link it right here. I'm going to build a course in Podia and I want you to help me with it. So we're going to do that next time. Make sure to check it out and I'll see you there. Bye.